This tutorial is going to teach how to make a pinch pot using Crayola Model Magic. You can purchase the Model Magic at dickblick.com, Jerry's Autorama, Staples, Office Depot, Walmart, and Amazon. Always double check and make sure that your local stores have these products before going in. They come in the large sizes or the small sizes, conveniently wrapped. The clay does dry very fast, so make sure you wrap it in between use. This is a picture of what the small packets look like. The clay looks like this. It's really light and fluffy. And when it dries, it looks like this, so you do want to be sure to wrap it up nice and tight when you're finished, and you want to work with it for about an hour or less, and then make sure to wrap it up. For the pot, start with a ball of clay roughly the size of your palm. Put it in the center, in the middle of your palm. Be sure that your hands are squeaky clean. Roll the ball of clay using a circle on the top and on the bottom. So your hands are making two circles, one on the top and one on the bottom. Push your thumb down through the clay, but not all the way through. You're going to stop so that you have almost something like a donut, but you're not all the way through the clay because you want to make sure your things don't fall through your pot. Then lightly pinch around your clay pot using your thumbs. Gently work around your pot. Make sure your sides are very even all the way around. Take your time and pinch very lightly using your pincher fingers. When you look from the top, you want to make sure that your sides are not too thin or else your pot could break. And you want to make sure your bottom isn't too thin or else your pot will fall apart. Can you see the bottom here? There are no holes. After the pot is finished, you're going to anchor it to a tray. Or at home, you can use a styrofoam plate because the Model Magic won't stick to a styrofoam plate. If you put it on a paper plate, though, it will stick. If you don't have a styrofoam plate, you could use a plastic plate or a plastic tray. Rip little pieces of another color clay, just like I've done here. Can you see how small these pieces are? Use one finger and roll little balls of clay. These are going to be the pieces you're going to use to design your pot. Here I am rolling the little balls of clay. Then you can set them on top of your pot. Of course, you would like to gently press them down to keep them firmly in place. If they're not pressed down, they're going to fall right off. So you want to make sure to press them down. You can make flowers or anything you want, really. All you need are the little dots to start out. Another great designing tool that you can use are little snakes. So go ahead and take one of those little balls and just roll it into a little snake. Try to make sure that your snake is even, that all the length of your snake is the same width, that there's no skinnier or fatter parts of your snake. Once you have an even snake, then you're ready to start designing. Look at my wavy snakes. My wavy snakes can make some awesome designs. I can also make what I like to call sleeping snakes. All you need to do is roll up your snake just like he would be if he were sleeping. This sleeping snake is the basis of a coil pot and pottery. Why don't you try to make a sleeping snake? Even a kindergarten student will be able to make a sleeping snake if he or she practices. Let's talk about line design and patterns. When you design your pot, I want you to try to use patterns. Remember, you're going to be using small pieces all the way around your pot. You aren't just going to be taking a big glob of clay and smashing it to the side of your pot. Number one, your craftsmanship will not be very good and your pot will most likely fall apart. Number two, you won't be able to add very much design if you just add one big piece. So think about using a pattern. Try an A-B pattern. You can make a shape pattern. The first example is a shape pattern. I have a dot, and then I have a sleeping snake, the coil, and then another dot, and then another sleeping snake. A dot, sleeping snake, dot, sleeping snake, dot, sleeping snake. You could try that, or you could make your own. On the bottom I have a color pattern. I have pink, and then I have red, and then I have pink, red, red. You can make whatever kind of pattern you want. You could try a flower and a dot, a flower and a dot. This is the time when you can start to become creative in your patterning. A famous artist once said, "Creativity exists within boundaries." Creativity is in fact a learned skill. It is something that you must work at. So I hope this exercise has helped you to become even more creative. I hope that you've enjoyed this pinch pot lesson, that you've learned a little bit more about the elements of art, the principles of design, that you are learning more and more about craftsmanship, and will be able to use these tools that I've taught you in this video to create art every day. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. This is Mrs. Papali signing off.